Welcome again, children. Same chapter of civics, chapter 3, parliamentary government. Children, in my last video, I wrote it is chapter 2, but actually it is chapter 3. Chapter 3 of civics, parliamentary form of government. Children, in the last video I explained about the form of government, different type of government. I told you about bicameral legislature, unicameral legislature, so many things. Today I explained about the relationship between Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. Children, as you know that Lok Sabha is the house of the state. Means members of the Rajya Sabha is the house of states, because members of the Rajya Sabha represent their house, represent their state. It is called upper house, but actually Rajya Sabha is having less power as compared to Lok Sabha. How, children? Lok Sabha is the house of people. Members of the Lok Sabha are elected directly by the people. So, Lok Sabha has more power as compared to Rajya Sabha. First of all, I want to tell you the procedure of making the law. The initial stage of the law is known as the bill, introductory part of the law. Before passing it, it is called bill. So first of all, bill is taken out in the Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha by the government or the members of the house. So, what is the procedure of passing a bill? First of all, I am telling you about ordinary bill. Any law which is going to make for the welfare of the country. So, ordinary bill, it may be come at Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha first in any house. And when there is a bill in Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha, there are 3 readings of the bill. First reading, introduction of the bill. The bill which is going to be passed is, what is the introduction of this bill? The member of the government or any member of the house can introduce this bill, and the copy of this bill is distributed among all the members of the house. Second reading, discussion. Members read this bill, study this bill and give their opinion. Some members give their opinion in the favor of the bill, some members give their opinion against the bill. And after discussion, there is a third reading in voting. Means in third reading, there is a voting inside the house. If more than 50% present member of the house, not absent, if more than 50% of the present member in the house vote in the favor of the bill, then bill is passed from this house. This procedure is taken in any of the house, Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha, for ordinary bill. So ordinary bill may be taken in Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha first, and after passing it, it goes to the next house. If it is passed from Rajya Sabha, it goes to Lok Sabha, and if it is passed from Lok Sabha, it goes to Rajya Sabha. And the same procedure is done in the other house. First reading, second reading, third reading. And if it is passed by both the house, then it goes to President. And President, if President signs it, then it becomes the law. If President thinks that there should be some changes in this law, in this bill, they send their suggestion to Parliament, and second time, it is the choice of the Parliament that Parliament include his suggestion or not. If second time it goes to the President, President has to sign it. President may delay it, but he has to sign the bill which is passed from both the house. So, in this way, in the case of ordinary bill, Lok Sabha has more power. How we can say Lok Sabha has more power? If bill is passed from Lok Sabha, but it is not passed from Rajya Sabha, then there is a joint meeting of Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. President called the ordinance. Ordinance means members of both the houses sit together. And the same procedure is again following. First reading, second reading and third reading. Because members of the Lok Sabha are approximately more than the double of the member of the Rajya Sabha. So, Lok Sabha verdict is generally taken out. And generally, in the joint session, the verdict of Lok Sabha is taken out. But it is not sure. So, in the first point, in the case of ordinary bill, because Lok Sabha members are more than the double of the Rajya Sabha members, so the verdict of the Lok Sabha is generally taken out when the joint session is sitting and the bill is going to be passed. In case of money bill, Lok Sabha has more power than Rajya Sabha. How? Money bill is only taken it in the Lok Sabha, not in the Rajya Sabha. And if it is passed from Lok Sabha, it goes to Rajya Sabha, but Rajya Sabha cannot. Rajya Sabha has to pass it. within 14 days, if Rajya Sabha is not passing it within 14 days, then it is thinking that it is passed from Rajya Sabha and goes to the President for the initials. So in case of money bill, Lok Sabha is more powerful. Next, Lok Sabha controls the executives. How it controls? Government should always be in the favor of Lok Sabha. Means more than 50% members of the Lok Sabha should always be in the favor of Lok Sabha. If any time less than 50% of the members are in the favor of the government, then any member of the opposition can put forward the no confidence motion. It means government is not in the confidence of Lok Sabha, and there is a discussion in the Lok Sabha, and if more than 50% members of the Lok Sabha give a vote in the favor of no confidence motion, then government has to resign. Prime Minister and all the members have to resign. So in this way, Lok Sabha controls the executives. Lok Sabha controls the budget. Lok Sabha controls all the money expenditure by the Lok Sabha. In these things we can say that Lok Sabha is more powerful than Rajya Sabha. In general meetings of the Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, there are 2 hours, question hour and 0 hour. Question hour, the timing for question hour is 11 to 12 am. Means the ministers shall ask the question to the ministers. Means the members of the house can ask the question from the ministers, and the questions are sent to the minister in advance, so that minister can prepare the answer of these questions. And in 0 hour, minister gives the answer, and the members can cross question with the minister, and there is a discussion about these questions in parliament session, in parliament. So this is happening in the session in the parliament, in the general sessions of the parliament. Now I am telling you about the list. Children, you have been thinking about the questions that which government is more powerful, state government or the central government, and is there any conflict among these governments? Children, to avoid the conflict, in our constitution it is given that state and central powers are separately. How they are? Try to understand. In our constitution there are 3 lists: union list, state list and concurrent list. In union list there are 97 subjects. These subjects are those which are very important for whole the country. They are having the same importance for whole the country, and only the central government has the power to make the laws, to make the decisions in these subjects, to make the policies in these subjects. State government will not interfere in these matters. Which type of subjects? Like money, banking, railways, foreign affairs, defense. These type of subjects which are very important for whole the country and having the same importance are in the union list. So, in these subjects, only central government can make the laws, can make the policies. State government will not interfere in these matters. Second thing, state list. In state list, there are 66 subjects related to the states. Matter of language, matter of agriculture purpose, matter of police, or we can say health, forest, irrigation, electricity, law and order, road. These are the subjects of states. Like this, there are 66 subjects in a state list, and only state government has the power to make the law in these subjects, to make the policies in these subjects. Central government cannot interfere in these matters to state government. Is it clear? The third list is concurrent list. This list is important for central and state both. And there are 47 subjects given in this list. Which type of subjects? Marriage, newspaper, education, divorce, environment, custody of the children, in the case of defense, in the case of divorce. Means they are having the same importance for state and central both. So both have the right to make the laws, to make the policies on these subjects. But if there is a conflict between state and central government, then the policy or law made by central government will be implemented. In this way, central government has more power than state government in concurrent list. Children, the next subjects are residual subjects. These subjects are those subjects which are not in the time of constitution making. When constitution was made, these subjects were not there at that time. They are newly subjects, invented subjects like computer, internet. So who will make the laws in these subjects? Only central government. Central government has the power to make the laws, make the policies on these subjects which are residual subjects. In this way, central government has more power than state government. If there is an urgent need to make a law for the welfare of the country, then President called ordinance. Ordinance means member of both the houses of Parliament, Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, sit together and make the law in one time to reduce the time to make the laws. Directly there is first reading, second reading, third reading about the bill in the joint house of Parliament, and if it passed, then President sign it and law is made. So if it is urgent need to make the law, then President called both the houses of Parliament to sit together. It is called ordinance. Now, important source of revenue. Sources of revenue of central government means what are the sources of income of central government so that central government can do work in the welfare of the public. Corporation tax are taken out for central government, currency, coinage and legal tender, foreign exchange, duties of customs including export duties, excise duties, estate duty in respect of property, foreign loan, post office saving banks income, property of union means central government, railways, income of railways, stamp duties, income tax, taxes of sale and purchase of newspapers, terminal taxes. These are the income, these are the resource of income of central government. Now, state government. Sources of income of state government. Capitation tax, duties in respect of succession to agricultural land, duties of export of certain goods produced, manufactured in the state, means the goods which are manufactured in the state government takes the taxes from these goods. Estate duty, land revenue, taxes on mineral rights, vehicle taxes and different other type of taxes are taken out for the central government. So children, in this way our chapter is over. And I think you have understood about Parliament, about Lok Sabha, about Rajya Sabha, their functions, which is more powerful, which is less powerful. And what are the sources of revenue of both the houses, of both the central government and state government. In this way, children, this chapter is over. And in the same way, your syllabus of half yearly is over. Again I am telling you the syllabus of half yearly. In history, chapter 3, Advent of British rule of India, it is explained. In geography, chapter 2, Natural Vegetation and Wildlife, it is explained. In civics, secularism, the soul of the constitution, it is explained by Sunil sir. And chapter 3 of civics, parliamentary government, that I have explained today. You have to prepare these lessons properly. Try to solve its question and answers exercise. After that, we will send you the solutions of these exercises and question answers. But first of all, you have to try by your own to solve all these exercises and question answers. Thank you, children.